So I'm Emily's dad. Oh, go ahead.
First, he's got to talk about how to get to Canada.
All right. So you guys, what Emily has told me is that when you guys talk about going to Canada, you get on the Nest bus. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. When I go to Canada, I get on an airplane, so I don't get to ride the Nest bus. And what?
Not real.
Oh, well, it is when I get on a plane, so that's very real. And so when you get on a plane, a couple things happen. First of all, go ahead and click ahead. This is before you get off the airplane, when you go to Canada, you have to fill out a special form. It's got all kinds of information on it. They want to know who you are, where you live, what you're going to do while you're in Canada. So that way they can track who's coming into the country and who's coming out. So it's not as easy as getting in a car or going on the Nest bus and just hopping off when you're done. So before you get off an airplane, you get to fill out a big form like that. Okay? Next thing, you guys have to wait in line here at school, right? You have to wait in line to go to lunch. You have to wait in line to go out to recess. Well, when I get into Canada, I have to wait in line like that. And that's actually a picture from Toronto. And it's not too far from what I normally see when I get there. So you stand in this really long line and you talk, you wait, you talk, and you wait. And eventually what happens is, if you want to click ahead, you get to what they call a customs officer. So you take the form that you filled out, and then you have a passport. You guys your mom or dad have a passport? You guys seen this before? All right. So we can pass this around so you guys can see it, but you have to hand them a form. You have to hand them this little booklet. It's got your photo, it's got your name, your date of birth, all that good stuff. And then when the officer gets done looking at your form and he lets you into the country, he puts a stamp on your passport. So you see I've got a bunch of stamps on other pages. So if you guys want to pass that around, you guys can take a look. So that's the first thing that you do when you get into Canada. Once you're in, they stamp your passport, you're good to go. So I've been to a couple different places inside of Canada. Does this look like the Canada map that you guys have looked at before as you've talked about Canada?
No.
No? All right. So I've been to a couple different places. If you want to click ahead, I've been to Toronto. I've been to Montreal. I've been to Halifax. I've been to Calgary. 4 very different places all over Canada. Any of you guys ever been to Toronto or Montreal? You have? Where have you been?
I've been to Toronto before.
You haven't been up there? You've been to Toronto or Montreal? You have? Which one? Oh, the Halifax one? All right. All right, well, let's look at what some of these cities are like, okay? So up here.
Next week, we're going to talk about Toronto.
Yep. So here's Toronto, which is where I've been most of the times that I go into Canada. So you see here on this picture, they've got this beautiful Space Needle. That's where I spend a lot of time downtown, right near there, when I come into Canada. Also, in Canada, they have professional sports teams, just like they do here in the United States.
Everybody got to see.
If you guys are done, I can take back. Okay, thanks. Did you get a chance to look? All right. So these are some of the professional sports teams in Canada. Anybody ever got any baseball fans here? All right, so the Blue Jays, they play against the Yankees and the Red Sox. You got the Maple Leafs. Anybody a hockey fan here? All right, so they're the hockey team. And then you got the Toronto Raptors, who are the NBA team. So those play American teams. There's a couple other sports that I've gotten a chance to see while I'm up in Canada. So if you want to go ahead and click. So first of all, in Canada, just like in the United States, they play sports. They play football. I know you're a football fan. You're even a Vikings fan, which is great.
I'm a Packer fan.
Really?
49ers.
You're not a Colts fan, are you?
I'm Packer.
Okay.
My brother is.
Alright. You're a Hawk fan? Well, if you were in Canada, you'd be a Canadian football fan. So you know how like this Sunday they're going to play the Super Bowl? They're going to hold up that gray, the silver Lombardi trophy. If you're in Canada, you play for the Grey Cup. So this is actually a picture of one of the Canadian football teams. they play in the summer instead of the winter, and the field's 20 yards wider and longer. So they play football up there. It's just a little different. If you want to go to the next one.
What team is it?
What time is it?
Oh,
What team? That was the Toronto or the Montreal Alouettes. Now, another sport that a lot of people play in Canada that's a little bit different, you might see it next year in the Olympics, is curling. Anybody heard of curling before? So you see what they're doing here, they're on the ice, and then they roll this big stone down the ice, and then these two guys or gals are sweepers, and they're sweeping the ice so that the stone has a nice smooth surface, and it just kind of rolls further, and whoever rolls their stone the furthest wins. So that's a sport that they play in Canada as well. Do you guys do any curling here? Really? You can do it outside today, it's cold enough. But the biggest sport in Canada is definitely hockey, right?
Oh yeah.
Hockey fans here? All right, so you know what? At your age, even when you're in kindergarten or you're in first grade, just like how you guys go and play baseball or softball or t-ball, you might start playing hockey. And you know how, anybody have a mom or a dad that plays softball or is in a bowling league? If your parents were in Canada, they might even be in a hockey league, even if they're as old as I am. So that's what the big sport is in Canada. Everybody's hockey crazy.
Next he's going to talk about Montreal.
All right, thank you, Emily. So I've been to Montreal. Montreal is a city that is actually set on a bunch of islands, and you always are driving over bridges to get to where you need to go. Now, there's something really different about Montreal, though. When you get to Montreal, everybody says things twice. It's kind of annoying at first, but they say it first in English, and then they say it in
French.
French. That's right. So if you want to skip to the next one, all of the signs, the newspapers, everything that you run into in Montreal is bilingual. So people speak two languages. So a lot of times when I'm working with people that live in Quebec, which is where Montreal is located, I'll pick up the phone and I'll call them and I'll say, "Hi, I'm Austin." And they'll say, "Parlez-vous français?" And I'll say, "No." And then they'll start speaking English back to me. So everybody in Montreal speaks two languages. They speak French and they speak English. So you're on an airplane, two announcements, English, French. You're in line at the, get something to eat at a Subway, English or French. So you get both languages. Most kids your age in Canada would be speaking both English and French. Does anybody here know how to speak French? You do? Where'd you learn? All right. Now this is a place that I've been as well called Halifax. Yep, Halifax. So Halifax is right on the ocean, just like I showed you on the map. And Halifax has a lot of lighthouses, lots of really good seafood. And also you can kind of see here, it's really rocky. It looks just like if you go to Scotland. So people in Halifax are fishermen, they're in the sea, they're out going and driving things across the ocean. So that's Halifax. I've been there a couple times. It's very pretty and very cold this time of year. Final place that I've been in Canada is a place called Calgary. Yep. So Calgary has a couple things that it's well known for. One is the Stampede. Anybody here been to the Iowa State Fair? Or even the Bremer County Fair? Okay, it's kind of like going to that, only it's about 3 or 4 times bigger. It's this huge rodeo. They even have, like here, they have chuck wagon races. And hundreds of thousands of people come into Calgary every summer for the Stampede. Another thing that Calgary is well known for is oil. So good bet is if you were riding in a car today or you're heating your home with oil, it probably came from somewhere in Alberta near Calgary. Lots of people work in the energy industry, and you can also see there's a lot of trees. There's a lot of forestry, a lot of wood cutting in Alberta and Calgary as well. So what are some things that you might learn, that you might even have in your own house that are from Canada? Emily, you've got one bottle. Maybe you guys have this in your house too. It says product of the United States and Canada. Do you know 75% of the maple syrup in the world comes from Quebec? Quebec, one of the places in Canada. So that's one product that comes out of Canada. Another one, lumber. So lots of trees. All the paper that you have here, all the pieces of paper that Emily has, good chance came from a Canadian tree. Lots of forests.
I knew that.
You knew that?
Me too. I knew that.
Okay.
I know that.
Yeah, I know you knew that. And then oil. Oil's a major product of Canada as well. A lot of times the gas you put in your car or again, what you might be heating your home with comes from Canadian oil. So, Emily?
Now we were going to take a quiz about Canada.
All right. With a bag?
Bag.
Okay. Got it? All right. So, have our first quiz question. What is this? Does anybody remember?
Raise your hand if you remember what it's called.
Do you remember? Do you remember? Passport. Passport. Okay. So when you want to go into it, when you go outside the United States, if you're not on the NUS bus, you have to have a passport. So you might have one that looks just like this. What's the #1 sport in Canada? Do you remember?
Football. No.
One of them. Close. Which one?
Hockey.
Got it? Hockey. You guys ever seen a hockey puck before?
Yeah. I have one.
All right.
I have one.
Pass this around so you guys can see it. This is actually this is the same size as a real, this is a real hockey puck. They just put a little sticker on it. Pass that around. You guys imagine trying to catch that or have a stick, be moving that across the ice while you're skating?
We have played in the gym.
You've played hockey in the gym?
Yeah.
Here at school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know what? I went to a hockey game and I got a little hockey puck.
You got a hockey puck? Does anybody in here know how to ice skate? Okay. So you guys can play hockey.
That's easy.
All right. What's the #1? What was one of the biggest products that we mentioned out of Canada?
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup. All right. So when you have your pancakes this weekend and you're putting some maple syrup on them, just remember it probably came from Canada. Yes? Oh, well, I got it out of my way so it didn't dangle in front of me. You guys got the puck?
I didn't even get it.
Okay, make sure you pass it around. Anybody not seen the hockey puck? All right,
I haven't seen it.
just pass it in the back and then bring it up front.
Yeah, and you can pass it to Rachel.
I haven't seen it.
Rock. And then Rachel. Rachel can give it to Rock.
Emily, did you have anything else you needed to make sure that we covered?
Canada. Dude, you got the word Canada. Canada.
Okay, Emily's got just a couple more things that she wants to make sure we share.
Listen.
#1 fact about Canada. It is November in the United States. It is November in Canada.
Yep, so in November, all my Canadian friends that I called, the guys all grew mustaches. You know, the people around here wear pink in October to raise cancer awareness. Everybody grows a mustache. November. So that's a fact, right, Emily?
Yep.
All right.
Fact #2 about Canada. In the tundra, the temperature goes from below 40 Fahrenheit to 64 Fahrenheit.
So it can get even colder than it is here, right, Emily? Right. Any other facts that you want to make sure that we shared, Emily?
#3 fact about Canada. 75% of all the maple syrup in the world comes from Quebec.
There you go.
#4 fact about Canada. A maple leaf is the symbol of Canada.
That's why you got it on the flag, and that's why you got it on your shirt, right? Right. I'll take the puck back. right. Do you have anything else, Emily? All right.
Emily, do
Thank
you
you
lashes?
guys.
Final paper.
Oh, you got one more thing?
Yeah.